like a boss.
All right, ladies, this is Alex from Mindful Attraction 2.0. So, today I want to talk about the biggest what you should never do with a guy you just met. Right? What's the biggest mistake that women do with new men? And this is because a lot of the times when women meet men, they go into their relationship and they have a certain agenda in mind. Nothing wrong with having an agenda in mind. The problem is that when your agenda doesn't meet his agenda, when you guys are not in line, in sync, right? And so what this happen is that unlike in other areas of life, when the person is not compatible to you, but you still like them, you try to change them. You see, usually when you're in a job and you hate your job, you don't try to, when you hate your job, you try to get a new one because you hate your job, right? But most people don't realize that the biggest mistake that people do when it comes to meeting new men is this, okay? Is that they try to change a man's values. A guy might be in a phase in his life where he doesn't value relationships, or he just came out of a relationship and he wants to be single, or he just came out of a divorce and he wants to be single and whatnot. And your agenda is that you want a committed relationship. And so usually you might think that because your personalities that might be compatible, you guys might have a good vibe, that it justifies your attempt to change them, right? So you try to change them, but you don't try to change them initially. You're normal in the beginning. You don't mind the way he acts, but slowly but surely you try to change him in your direction, right? We all know what I'm talking about here. And I talk a lot about this in my course, Psychological Game of Attraction, because one of the most important things that I teach on that course is that you cannot force people to change their values in life. You have to allow life to change their values. And sometimes they can be the perfect guy for you, right? But if his values are not aligned to yours, it won't work out. What I mean by values? A value could be he values commitment at this moment, or he values just having sex at this moment. And when a guy is in that mode, there is nothing that you could do to change that. Now, the thing is, like, sometimes life happens and he might fall in love with you, right? But those things are out of your control. Like the story that you hear of guys that were players and then suddenly they've met a girl and they wanted to commit to them. Sure, there is a good chance that she might have caused it, but also there's a good chance that might have been brewing inside of them for a while. You see, and so you don't know if he is in a moment of just wants to have sex, and you don't know if the desire for a relationship is brewing inside, because it has to be brewing inside, but you just never know. That's why it's best to let people be who they are and do not try to change them, because when you try to change people, you become frustrated, and when you become frustrated, you try even harder. You see, the frustration is happening because you're not reading the signs, and one of the most important things to understand is that people cannot be changed. People cannot be forced to change. No matter how much of a catalyst you are, no matter how much of an emotional response you give them, you can't force them. If a father of 5 children cannot stop doing heroin to feed his family, there's no fucking way that you're gonna change them. You see, it's life that causes people to change. He has to hit an emotional rock bottom. He has to find having random sex with women stale and boring. You cannot force that change. You cannot force that introspection. Only life and his own biology will make that happen. And the sad part is that when you meet a guy and he's not in your own place, you have to get out of that scarcity mentality and let him go. Because for the most part, when a woman meets a guy, they try to change him. They come up with a strategy and they even call me. A lot of my clients come to me because they want to change a guy. And that's normal, that's okay, I take them. But I try to give them and not listen to the problems, right? And sometimes they're able to change a guy, actually. What's funny is that sometimes they do, but under certain circumstances. You see what I'm saying? Because sometimes the guy does want something, but he doesn't really tell you. And so you gotta learn how to test the guy out, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, you gotta learn how to test. You gotta learn how to test for those signs, because if you don't, a big part when it comes to getting to know someone is knowing their values, understanding their values. I think I put that video on here on how to get to know a guy, or is that in my course? Now, maybe I'll post like a little preview of it one day. But in the course of Psychological Game, there's a video called How to Get to Know a Guy, and it shows you how to get to know his values, because you have to know a guy's values. And the way that you know a guy's values, one of the ways is notice who he admires. You know, notice who he admires. Notice where he derives his self-esteem from. You see what I'm saying? And also, getting to know a guy, you gotta give yourself time, and also an open mind. In other words, give yourself time, meet other people, but also the reason why I say meet other people is because it insulates you from getting attached too soon. You see what I'm saying? And also it gives you more perspective. You're able to look at other guys' traits and then compare those traits to him. You're not just looking at him specifically, and because when you just look at him, you just think he's perfect. You gotta find other guys. Some guys are funnier. Some guys are more handsome. Some guys are more charming. You know, but you will never know if you only have one guy. You know. So that's the thing, man. Don't try to change guys, man, and people in general. One of the laws of human nature that I believe is that do not try to change people. When you try to change people, you're gonna encounter resistance. You're gonna encounter your own resistance. You're gonna say, this motherfucker keeps making those silly fucking jokes. No, bitch, don't try to change them, all right? You learn how to deal with those shitty jokes. You learn how to relax, you know? Because people are who they are. I learned that in my experience, man. I learned that you cannot change people. It's impossible. Because when you try to change people, they resist you, and and as a result, they're gonna resist every attempt to change them in the future. All right, and that's not smart. And to me, a sign of intelligence is someone who's able to look deeply into the future and plan based on having a long-term perspective. But when you're so emotional, when you want things to change because of your own unhappiness, or because you're looking at other people being in relationships and you want to join the club, you will try to rush things, and that's not smart. All right. Anyways, this is Alex from mindfulattraction.org. If you guys want one-on-one coaching, go to mindfulattraction.org/coaching. If you guys want to attend if you guys want to purchase my course, A Psychological Game of Attraction, you can go to the link below. And also, if you guys want to check out a free ebook, go to the link below. All right. This is Alex. Take care and have a good day. Bye-bye. By the way, I have a Spanish channel called MA3. Go check it out. It's a Spanish channel. All right. I'm gonna change it to a Mindful Attraction 3.0. All right. But yeah. Anyways, bye-bye.